Mention the devil, and a specific image comes to mind: a fallen angel, a cosmic rebel, the snake in Eden, the sovereign ruler of hell. Open the original Hebrew Bible, however, and this central villain is missing. Instead, the text uses the term Hasatan. In its original context, this functions as a job title. It's an appellative noun for the adversary or the accuser, rather than a personal name. In ancient texts like the Book of Job or Zechariah, this figure appears as a member of the heavenly court in good standing. He works for God. His role is that of a celestial prosecuting attorney, assigned to test human loyalty and report his findings to the divine council. These ancient writers were remarkably comfortable with a creator who claimed responsibility for both prosperity and disaster. But as the centuries passed, a new theological need emerged, a requirement for a secondary, independent power to take the blame for the world's darkness. This shift began with foreign conquest. When the Persian Empire conquered Babylon and allowed exiled Israelites to return to Jerusalem in the 6th century BCE, the returning Jewish population brought back a new religious framework: dualism. The Persian state religion, Zoroastrianism, divided the universe into a battleground between opposing forces. On one side was Ahura Mazda, a perfectly good creator deity. On the other was Ahriman, a distinct, purely evil spirit of chaos and deception. Over the following centuries, living as a subjugated people under violent empires, Jewish apocalyptic writers began viewing their history through this dualistic lens. We see the change in the Dead Sea Scrolls and the Book of Enoch, which describe a cosmic war between light and dark to explain their own political suffering. The heavenly prosecutor received a promotion during this era. The accuser acquired proper names like Mastema and Belial, transitioning from a loyal employee on God's payroll into a rebel leader commanding armies of fallen spirits. Centuries of living under the boot of foreign empires provided a new context for these writers. Their theological framework adapted to their reality, reimagining a once loyal servant as a hostile cosmic rebel to make sense of the cruelty they witnessed daily. By the Roman era, the evolution accelerated. The writers of the New Testament upgraded Satan's status again, referring to him as the god of this age and the ruler of demons. He became a primary adversary whom Jesus had to confront directly. The Book of Revelation went so far as to identify the Roman Empire as Satan's physical domain on earth. The author specifically pointed to the city of Pergamum, home to the Pergamon altar, as the literal site of Satan's throne. But early Christian leaders faced a challenge. This newly elevated enemy lacked a clear origin story in the older scriptures. To explain where this power came from, they synthesized a backstory by pulling from unrelated texts. They found a missing link in an ancient poetic taunt directed at an arrogant Babylonian king. The poem compared the king to the morning star falling from the sky, a star whose ancient Latin name was Lucifer. Later interpreters read this as a literal account of an angel cast out of heaven. Next, they looked back to the beginning of Genesis. They assigned the role of the devil to the talking serpent that tempted Eve, an identification the original authors of Genesis never made. They then merged this figure with the apocalyptic imagery of the Book of Revelation. This allowed them to link the ancient serpent of the garden with the great multi-headed red dragon defeated by the archangel Michael. Visual traits were borrowed from rival religions to complete the image. The devil's cloven hooves and horns were lifted directly from half-goat native deities like the Greek god Pan, and effectively demonizing the old pagan world. The modern devil represents a literary hybrid, a figure stitched together over a millennium from a divine job title, the visual traits of rival gods, and unrelated ancient poetry. This 1,000-year journey transformed a prosecuting angel into the Prince of Darkness. This evolution was fueled by the problem of Theodicy, reconciling an all-powerful God with a world defined by suffering. If God is the source of all good, he cannot be the source of evil. Introducing Satan balanced the logical equation. Satan provided a way to explain away tragedy. Cruelty, oppression, and disease shifted from being seen as direct acts of a mysterious God to the works of a rogue cosmic adversary. This effectively shielded the creator from the blame for worldly suffering. The invention of Satan stands as humanity's most powerful coping mechanism. It demonstrates our willingness to rewrite our entire cosmology and build a monster. just to preserve the goodness of the divine.